This video is brought to you by Manscaped. More about them at the end of the video.
Shot. This is the easiest I've ever to answer.
I'm going to say beer. I can't even begin to describe.
I'm actually going to go crazy. I'm going to buy everybody around on this one. All right. Well, Anthony's going to have another easy one that he's going to answer in a second. But whenever we can, always, everybody, welcome back to Big Apple Hockey's Bar Talk, where we are gauging our confidence on NHL topics based on our choice to drink. Are you so confident you're buying everybody around? So, I'll just take a beer. Or, oh my goodness, just give me a shot. All right. Play along down in the comments below. And Filk, there's only been one Russian goalie to score a goal in the NHL. Who is it?
Evgeny Nabokov.
That is correct. Evgeny Nabokov, the former New York Islander, scored a goal when he was a San Jose Shark. And the Rangers got a Russian goalie that likes to shoot for the empty net and just missed this week. Igor Shesterkin will score 1.5 goals in his NHL career.
So basically you're saying he'll score 2 or more.
Correct.
Balls to the wall on this one. I'm buying around.
Oh! All right.
I think he's going to do it. He's already come this close twice in his first 2 full seasons. So I think he's going to score twice in his career.
Anthony.
I don't know. He shoot the puck well and there's an empty net. He's good. Obviously, he's going to play for a very long time, so I'm sure he's going to get many opportunities. But I don't know. How many goalies? It's very rare a goalie scores goals. It's go either way. You couldn't come up with Rangers should add Timo Meier because I know that's been rumored. This is the best you got.
We're going to get that anyway in the Q&A, and I'm sick and tired of hearing about Timo Meier.
I'm going to go heel on you. I'm going to go heel on you right now, Mark. This is stupid. It's dumb. Yeah, Igor shoots the puck well. Congratulations. I'm sure he'll probably score a goal, or maybe he won't. He's a goalie for Christ's sakes. Goalies don't score often. Let's move on.
Okay, so shot.
Beer.
There it is.
I don't know. Beer. He could. What? You might as well put 5. Maybe you score 5. I don't know.
All right, I got 16 seconds just to say he shoots the puck better than any goalie I think I might have ever seen, including Marty Brodeur. Brodeur's only got 1, but you know something? I'm gonna buy around because they pull the goalies at 9 minutes remaining, like they did this week. All right, Anthony.
I've ever seen that.
Yeah, geez.
We all thought Patrick Waugh was crazy doing it 4 minutes left back in 2014.
Yeah, or even 5 minutes, but still. All right. These are the wild card standings right now. Florida with 52 points, the Islanders with 51, and Washington having the second wild card right there. The New York Islanders GM, Lou Lamoriello, said today, if I can make the team better, I will always make a trade to make it better. Anthony, I thought he was going to break out into Hey Jude when he was saying that, because he was even saying, make it better, make it better. All right. So, Anthony, the Islanders need to make a deal now to save their season.
Lou sucks. The guy sucks. I'm done. I'm done with the guy. Smartest guy in the room attitude, similar to Garth Snow. I don't know. All right, sure. So the conundrum that they're in right now is I don't want him moving assets like Ratu or Dufour or Bolduc, first-round picks, for kind of a situation where maybe they make the playoffs, maybe they don't. So it can't be for a rental at this point. It would be different if they were solidified in a playoff spot. However, with that said, a guy like Timo Meier, who is going to be a restricted free agent, that was 26 years old, I believe he is.
26,
that would still fit in with their core of Sorokin and Dobson and Pelech and Barzell. So that move still makes sense. So sure, if he go out there and make a move like that, or Jacob Chikrin, who's under contract, then yeah, round. But I don't want him spending assets on a guy like Bo Horvat right now, or Andrei Kuzmenko, guys that could be unrestricted free agents, unless of course he knows he could follow that up with an extension. So yeah, I mean, if they want to make the playoffs, they're going to need to add and they're going to need to start winning, but it needs to be the right situation. He can't just go give up Ratu, Bolduc, and a first for Bo Horvat and then just hope that he could re-sign him.
Oh, and Anthony, my apologies. You were on fire with that one, and we got these brand new things to throw in there. I should have thrown that in there. That was actually perfect for that. Philk.
I'm gonna say beer, but it's big for the reasons that basically, Anthony, listen, I don't really have anything else I could say other than that at that point. Like you need to make a deal, but I mean, at the same time, if he goes and gives up any of his assets, what is he going to have left at that point? So for me, that's the quarry here is just you're looking at a barren farm system that really has 3 assets that you can really think of, 4 if you want to count Holmstrom. But I mean, you move any of those assets, what do you have going forward? And then if you move those assets, you want to move it for a young guy who's going to be under team control for a while, or someone who's at least going to be around for a few years that's relatively younger. And none of those guys are really available sans Meyer. So I'm just going to say beer here.
I'm going to say beer too. They can probably wait a little bit longer. We were talking about their points deficit right now. It's not the end of the world to wait a little bit longer for them, but I mean, they're going to have to do something and do something soon enough. They got to get goals on that team. And hopefully, the guys wake up and they don't have to trade anything until trade deadline. All right, guys, if you watched the New Jersey game last night on ESPN Plus, you would have heard PK Subban shouting on the hilltops, Jack Hughes is an MVP finalist. He says it over and over again. You look at those numbers right there. So I ask you guys this. Jack Hughes is a Hart Trophy finalist. And you know something? I'm going to go beer on this. And the reason why I'm going to go beer is because, you look at a lot of the guys like Tage Thompson, as much as I say he's my MVP, he's also out of the playoffs. Jack Hughes is right in the mix. 60 points is nothing to shake a stick at. I mean, unless you're Connor McDavid, he passed 60 points in November. And you know what? I'm going to go beer on him. Anthony.
So McDavid, Thompson, those are the top 2 for me for sure. The third, I mean, Hughes, Jason Robertson, it's close. You know what? I'll go round just because I don't know if I could definitely pick Robertson over Hughes or Hughes over Robertson, but either way, I mean, Jack Hughes is a phenomenal player. I mean, you take him off that Jersey team. Sure, they still got pieces like Heishier, Bratt that are playing really well for him, but he's their motor that drives the team.
Philk?
I'm going to say beer. The only reason why is because I don't know if I could really put him ahead of Robertson at this point, because Dallas, they would compete, but they probably wouldn't be a playoff team without Robertson. And I know that Hughes would be Hughes not on Jersey would have Jersey as a cellar dweller. And I get that there is a difference there, but I don't know. I just think that Robertson, he's just playing at another level right now. And I know Hughes is getting close to that, but I'm going to say beer because it's really, really, really close to me.
Yeah, I mean, and this is why they don't decide it now. They wait until the end of the year. Somebody could always pull what I like to call the Chipper Jones. Basically show up the last month of the year and just show that he's the MVP. So, guys, last Thursday night, Steven Stamkos scored his 500th career goal versus the Vancouver Canucks. So I got to ask you guys this. Steven Stamkos is the greatest player ever in Lightning history. Phil, I'm going to start with you.
I mean, he has all the statistics. I get that. But if you're talking about impact and value and then just like being the player or being the man at the time, I'm still going with Marty St. Louis. So I'm going to say beer. I'm not going to say shot just because there is an argument for it. But Marty St. Louis had he had a 100-point season with Tampa. He had a Hart Trophy and Art Ross winning season. He has 2 Art Rosses, actually. And, one of them he got while playing with Steven Stamkos later on in his career. But I get it why you would say Steven Stamkos would be that guy. But to me, it's always going to be Marty St. Louis for me, unless Stamkos has like 700 goals by the end of his career or something like that. And then, yeah. But again, I just preference for me, I say St. Louis.
Anthony.
It's close between him and St. Louis. I mean, as Phil mentioned, Stamkos has got the numbers. He's got the 2 cups. He's their captain. He's beloved down there. He could have left the greener pastures of Toronto, heavily courted, but he opted to go back to Tampa. This is close. This is close. So I honestly, I can go either way on it, but I'll stay in the middle. Beer.
I'm gonna have to join you guys because you guys have already made the case for Marty St. Louis, and Stamkos even has the 60-goal season. He's got the 2 cups. He's been the captain. He's got that moment that he got the goal in like his only shift in the first Stanley Cup run. But I'm gonna throw one more out at you. Is he even the best Lightning player on his own team right now? Because you can make a good argument for Hedman, and you can make a big argument for Vasilevsky the way he's going.
You could make one for Kucherov too.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Here, so look at this way. So all the other guys you've looked at on this team, has Stamkos won any other major individual award aside from a co-Rocket Richard? No. No, he doesn't have an MVP, doesn't have a Pearson, doesn't have anything like that. Hedman has a Norris Trophy, widely considered the best defenseman in the world for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Kucherov has a Hart and a Art Ross from 2019. Vasilevsky has a Vezina. St. Louis has 2 Art Rosses and a Hart. I mean, for me, Stamkos is the guy that has been there the longest and the most consistent of them all. So that's why he gets this. But yeah.
But when I think of Lightning, I think of Marty St. Louis.
So do I. Yeah.
There you go. Anthony?
I already answered the question.
Oh, I know. I was asking if you were just right on that one. When you think of the Lightning, you think of one player. What do you think of?
Alexander Selovanov.
Roman Hamrlik.
Yeah.
Rob Zommer.
Roman Hamrlik. That was the first overall draft pick.
Point season in 1996. Roman Hamrlik.
Ryan Bradley. Yeah, I mean, those are the guys I think of.
All right. By the way, guys, hottest team in the NHL right now. No surprise that it is the Colorado Avalanche. They've won 6 in a row. They are now in a playoff position. The Colorado Avalanche will be in a playoff spot the rest of the season. Anthony.
I'll go round. I think, as we all know, they were kind of decimated with injuries there for a while. And then you throw kind of like the cup hangover on top of that. And similar to the Lightning now, just to a lesser degree, they know what it takes to get there. They're talented enough to where they can kind of just flip the switch when it matters. So yeah, I think they'll be there. They got too much talent not to. And eventually, guys like Gabe Landeskog, I think he'll be back at some point, and that will be a big boost for them. I'm not, and also too, the trade deadline is going to come around, and that they're going to do something to bolster our lineup. So I'm not really concerned about the Avalanche.
Phil,
I'm going to buy a round on this, and the reason for that being is I think that they've got their health figured out for the most part. everybody's back. Landeskog is really the one injury that they haven't gotten over yet. He'll be back sooner than later. Makar is not producing the same rate as Makar was producing last year.
By the way, thank you for my fantasy team.
Yeah, so their goaltending is really what I worry about. But I think that they're going to go make another move because I think they know that they could make another move and probably end up winning it all because they won it with Darcy Kemper being just meh last year. So maybe they can win with Alexander Georgiev in net. So I think they're going to go ahead and they're going to be fine. I'm going to say round.
I'm going to say beer, and you hit the nail on the head. The only reason why I'm going to say beer, they might drop out, they might get back in, but that'll still count as them dropping out in my mind.
I think there's two players on the Blues that would suit them well, either reacquiring Ryan O'Reilly or Tarasenko. I think either of those guys would be great fits for the Avalanche.
Oof, yeah.
You know what? That's a nice little.
That's right in at second line center, Ryan O'Reilly.
Yep.
But again, I'm not a believer in Alexander Georgiev, and if Francois is not up to the task, what are they doing in net? At least Darcy Kemper was still pretty consistent for them last year. Georgiev, you don't know what you're getting from one day to the next, and I know he had a .930 save percentage 2 months ago, and he's down in the .915 area right now. I think it was .914.
But again, when you play for a team like the Avalanche, as long as your goaltender's giving you a .915, that's workable. You don't need a Hellebuck in goal for the Avalanche to repeat and win a cup.
Which is true, Anthony, but I just think he's also been a guy that always when he gets going bad, it goes bad.
I know you're
got back up to a 918 right now.
You don't like him because he was a Ranger, but take your Ranger glasses off and take Georgiev out of the equation. He doesn't play for the Rangers, he plays for the Avalanche, different team. He suits them well enough where they can still win with Georgiev in goal. They're a different team.
I wonder about him mentally because he doesn't have the playoff experience. You're talking about taking him away from the Rangers. He doesn't have that playoff experience.
That's a valid argument, is playoff experience. Because every goalie reacts differently when it comes to more high stakes situations. But again, I think they can. They're not my pick to repeat, but I think they can. I don't think he's going to hold them back.
I just don't think he's consistent enough to do it. Now you're going to ask him to go into the playoffs and win you 16 games. And for me, I just don't know if he can do that. And yes, his .262 goals against is the best save percent, or is the best goals against. And his save percentage of .918 ties his career best. But I don't know how he fares come playoff time against better teams and having to do it every night. Because so far, he really hasn't been that great every night for Colorado.
And the 2 games that he played for the Rangers last year, he didn't look great. The game-winning goal in Game 3 was absolutely abysmal. So, yeah, is it something that can be fixed and Colorado's can support him? Great. I hope so.
Bowen Byram's coming back soon, too, I believe.
Yeah, they're just getting all sorts of healthy. But you know who's not coming back, guys? Bruce Boudreau. The Vancouver Canucks fired him and hired Rick Tocchet. And also, we'll get to that little nugget you had on sent in our group chat too, Phil. But my last question is, the Canucks handled their coaching change the right way. Boys, I'll start this one, and I might as well.
Get the damn layup gif out.
Yeah. Well, I got this one for you. Because, again, Jim Rutherford, seriously, you let him twist in the wind for days. He has to come out and say, well, I'm still here. That's it. No, this is definitely a shot. What is Rutherford doing? And I can't even find it right now. I'm so annoyed. But look, Tocchet, it might be a good coach and might be the right guy for the job, which I hope he is. But Boudreau, he deserves more respect than what he was given the last month. So, Anthony, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it was bizarre is one way to put it, how they handled it. Wrong, distasteful. I mean, you can go reprehensible. You can go on and on. I don't know why they did that to him. I mean, it was so. It's not something usually your team makes a coaching change, and then you find a coach. The fact that they already had it publicized that Tocchet was going to be his eventual replacement, and just have him wonder, well, is it going to be now? Is it going to be now? Before I think the day or two before he got fired, even a little fun with it. It was reported that he wasn't on the ice for practice, and later on he kind of said, "Gotcha." Like when they talked to him, it was just so wrong for a guy from all counts, a really good person. You saw how choked up he got in his last couple of days. The fans with the Bruce there it is in his last game. I think really, I don't know how many players on the Canucks will admit it vocally, but I would imagine a lot of them probably do not like how it was handled at all. But he handled it with class. He never kind of fired back. And I know for sure that he'll get another coaching job at some point. But yeah, shame on Jim Rutherford and the Canucks organization for the way they handled it, because he's not the Canucks problem. The Canucks problem falls squarely on Jim Rutherford for his roster construction and some of the choices he made. And Bruce Boudreau shouldn't have had to fall on the sword for it.
Yeah. And Phil, here's your easy button. Go ahead.
Where's my layup gif? So yeah, this is absolutely a shot. I know a team that plays in a big city that has a bunch of players that aren't producing to where they should offensively. Starts with an N and it ends with an S. There's also a Y somewhere in there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the New York Rangers. Yeah, they could use a guy like Bruce Boudreau, because Gerard Gallant, whatever the hell he's doing with this offense, is just it needs to be a lot better. And I'm sure Bruce Boudreau's decision-making is probably a lot better than Gerard Gallant's. So I'll take him, and Bruce Boudreau would also fix a terrible power play that the Rangers would have. Getting back to the way that he was handled, I've never seen anything like this in my life. I've never seen a coach toil publicly with the ominous aspect of losing his job. Like, what organization does it? I've never seen this in any sport. Never in any sport like this. So to the point where they you obviously hear, this such and such may be on the hot seat, but never when they have a replacement lined up for them. What are you doing, Rutherford?
It was literally the sword of Damocles hanging over his head the entire time.
Rutherford wins a couple of Stanley Cups in Pittsburgh, and then 1 year ago in Carolina, and he gets to sit there and then do this to a coach. Jim Rutherford, you are not a good general manager. You're not a good executive. I don't want to hear any of this crap. And
you know what's even worse?
People are
don't be surprised.
Awful.
Don't be surprised if Connor Bedard ends up going there.
No, I want nothing to do with Connor Bedard going to Vancouver after this treatment. This should be their punishment for the way that they treated Bruce. That should be karma. And you know what? I'm going to say this. I hope the Vancouver fans give Rick Tocchet a chance, because he deserves it. Because all he's doing is coming in and just trying to do a job and trying to succeed as an NHL coach. And he's going to unnecessarily get a lot of flack from the Vancouver fan base, because he has to be the guy to come in to this shit show, to this garbage, and try to pick up the pieces after the way that this organization completely mistreated Bruce Boudreau. Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. I hope that, for Rick Tocchet's sake, he can get off to a good start. I know they beat the Blackhawks in his debut, but it would be nice. And you know what? It's funny that someone mentions Billy Martin and the Yankees. Billy Martin and George Steinbrenner had an interesting relationship, but it was never like this. Never like this. So
no, I mean, I'm trying to think of other ones that could have been like this in other sports. Wayne Fonts was given that. I think Jim Fossil was given something similar, not really sorted by the Maras, but where it was when he came out and I'm just thinking about him saying, we're going to make the playoffs. everybody get on the train, and then they did
you
it.
have Rutherford blaming Elliot Friedman. How is Elliot Friedman getting that information? Let me ask you that. All right, so if they didn't hire Tocchet, okay, then you know what? Maybe it's Friedman just stirring up and being a fire starter. Okay, but they hired Tocchet, so obviously someone in that organization leaked that information to Friedman for a reason. This one's on you, Jim Rutherford. You're trash, absolute trash.
Yeah, and I gotta agree with you on that one because, like, obviously I agree with it. We're all in agreement on this because how do you let a guy like Bruce Boudreau, as liked as he is in every NHL circle,
come to New York, Bruce? We'll give Gerard a nice Uber out of New York, and then you can come and take over and help us out on offense and with the power play.
Oh no, not again for Gerard Gallant. Everybody, thanks for joining us in the Big Apple Hockey Bar Talk, where we're gauging our confidence on NHL topics based on our choice of drink. We're going to do a quick news and notes and Q&A. Phil, you had a dandy of a note that you sent in to us in our group chat about Elias Pettersson.
Okay, so let me just pull this up because I want to make sure I have the date correct on this. So Michael Russo of The Athletic, who writes for the Minnesota Wild for The Athletic, this is the interesting part about it. And by the way, I was actually going to mention this because I saw the video on Twitter yesterday of Bruce Boudreau scoring his first NHL goal for the Maple Leafs against Jim Rutherford. And I believe that's the Red Wings at that time. Yeah. So
maybe that's why Jim Rutherford had problems with him.
Yeah, maybe that's why. Bruce pissed in his Wheaties 50 years ago. Great. So yeah, Michael Russo basically reports that Elias Lindholm is going to want to move on and that there's some behind the scenes stuff that are going to want to make him go elsewhere in the offseason. Now, I know it's weird to hear this from a Minnesota.
Wait, Elias Lindholm? You said Elias
Pettersson, sorry. Did I say Lindholm?
All right, yeah, you said Lindholm, yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Marc.
Pettersson. I don't know why I was thinking Lindholm. I must have just saw it on the screen or something. But yeah, so Pettersson could end up moving out. And if this is true, this is crazy. But I wonder if any of this has to do with Bruce Boudreau's the handling. And because if you're a player and you have an attachment to a coach like that, and by all accounts, he was well loved in that locker room from what I've heard. I mean, I'm only going on hearsay. The players absolutely seemed bummed out about it. So you know what? Maybe he was just a scapegoat, and maybe the players are now pissed about it. So this was found on. And I'm just going back to the date. So the post was on the 13th of January, but the actual post from Michael Russo was before that, and it doesn't say the date on air, unfortunately. But this is before Bruce Boudreau was fired, so that leads to believe that maybe something was, something is linking these two incidents, maybe. And if that's the case, that is not good news for Vancouver. But if I'm a team like the Rangers, I'm going and offering Lafreniere and other assets up for Elias Pettersson because he would absolutely help fix a lot of the Rangers' problems.
$7.5 million, I believe, for this year and next, for what he's got remaining on that new extension. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe a change of scenery is what's going to be good for him. Guys, girls love a man that's well groomed. So check out Manscaped and their family of products. They have you covered from head to toe, from the lawnmower to the weed whacker, because you don't want to look like a fuzzball. Go to manscaped.com, put in promo code BAH for Big Apple Hockey to get 20% off and free shipping. Please like and subscribe to our channel. We have a lot of great hockey content and an entertaining interactive podcast. So check us out and our library of videos.
Your ideas are intriguing to me, and I wish to subscribe to your newsletter.